Welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. My name is Kathryn Kauffman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we discover what and who we are in this journey called life. So this is the second installment of the Alien series. Last week we went over alien encounters. And this week we're going to go over alien communication because there were a lot of similarities between the encounters that we looked at, the sample encounters from last week. I do want to hop over to comments and see if they are working. Doesn't appear to be. Let me check Facebook and make sure that we're connected okay. Oh, thank you, Amber. Thank you so much. Good to see you tonight. Happy all you guys are joining me, especially over here on Instagram. Good to see you. I'll just be going back and forth from the windows to see what the comments are on Facebook because, on these live streaming platforms, absolutely none of them work like they're supposed to, and you don't even get half the comments than actually looking at your phone or looking at your computer. So let's go over last week's similarities of communication. Hey to Ina, good to see you tonight. We found a lot of similarities last week with the incidents of alien encounters, and I think that cough is in need of a Monday night martini. And tonight we have the pink martini glass, which is extra large. And let me tell you, I need it. This back is doing better, but it is still not near what I need it to be. And the worst thing is that it hurts to sit up. So like doing the show or meeting with my clients is really painful. So, but this will take care of it. I'm sure it will. Oh, it'll take care of my cough too. So I hope you guys have got a nice libation to have this evening with me while we look at alien communication. And altered states of consciousness are the key to this. So the similarities of contact from last week were seeing a craft. Oddly enough, rotational movement of the craft was something that both parties in the encounters that I presented mentioned, and I'm thinking that it could have been the rotation of the craft or rotation of the energy around it that caused part of the hypnotic effect on the people that were watching. Also, a lot of people, and in the circumstances that we saw from last week, mentioned blue flashes of light. And it's been in many accounted occurrences of people seeing UFOs that they mention specifically blue flashes of light. So there's something significant behind that, and I will try to see what I can uncover about that for you guys. Also, the craft were all similarly shaped, like geometric shape, either diamond or triangles. And all of the parties mentioned an altered mental capacity, that their consciousness was affected by the presence of the craft. A loss of time is mentioned by pretty much all of the people that are having this phenomena happen. And two, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments on Facebook and Instagram, and I will try to watch for these as I go back and forth. Also, they had suppressed memories. So whatever happened to them, they had to go back and have hypnotherapy to pull out the suppressed memories or repressed memories. Now, that action wasn't made by them. In other words, they didn't decide to suppress or repress those memories. That was done by whatever interacted with them. Also, another key factor to this was telepathy. On many occasions, people mention telepathy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a case study, and this is a very interesting one. And if you can find other videos about it on YouTube, or if you can find the documentary that was made about this, you have to watch it because it is so fascinating. This, I don't know if you guys have heard about it or not, the Tsarichina Hole project in Bulgaria. And so I'll tell you what that is. A special shout out to Melissa Begley. Good to see you tonight. Hope you're doing okay. So Tsarichina is a town in Bulgaria, and it became famous in the paranormal community in the early 1990s, and was even named Bulgaria's Area 51 due to its famed Tsarichina Hole. The hole was dug by the Bulgarian Ministry of Defense. They excavated an area in the center of the village during a project which occurred from December 6, 1990 to November 19th, 1992. So they spent 2 years on this. Initially, they were supposedly looking for a hidden treasure of Tsar Samuel. The project was abandoned after 2 years, supposedly to financial concerns. Now, I have different data. After they abandoned, or they didn't abandon it, they basically, what happened was they dug for 2 years. The project was led by a psychic, and her name was Elisaveta Laganova. And she was the psychic who directed the dig. She was in communication with what she called the others, and she would obtain knowledge through automatic writing of the trajectory with which to dig each time they went out to dig. Now, in her communication with the entities, the others, who were aliens, she got in her information that they were discovering a proto-human who was neither alien or neither human, and that it was going to be one of the biggest discoveries. So, that's what they were really digging for. Now, they get to the end of this 2-year trek of digging this huge hole, and they come into this multicolored cavern, and brightly multicolored, like bright yellow, bright purple, bright blue. And it even has an arrow pointing to an object or a thing that is encased that they have to dig out of the wall. Okay. 2 days after they find this and they're fixing to go in there and release this from the wall, these men in black appear. And you can guess what happened. They shut everything down. It wasn't abandoned. They shut everything down. They took all of the scientists' notes, all of the records, and they took everything documentation-wise away from the people that were working on this, including Elisaveta Loganova's notes, her personal notes. Let me check for questions on Facebook. So they take everything and they shut it all down, and then they cover the hole up and they seal it off so that no one can go in it. So a number of locals and foreign investigators reported the town had since, when it first opened and they first started digging, it had since become a hotspot for what they described as paranormal phenomena, starting as soon as the digging began. So the whole time that they were digging, they would have, paranormal phenomena and UFO sightings. Many reported seeing strange lights, and some ufologists claimed to have been hit with a beam of powerful light. Here we go back to these flashes and these beams of powerful light over the course of the investigation. On top of that, during the 2-year dig, more than one local claimed to have heard voices from a paranormal entity they associated with the hole. Now, just to double check Elisaveta Loganova's information, because she was the head psychic that was directing the dig, they brought in a local blind clairvoyant psychic by the name of Baba Vanga, and she was also like a prophetic type of psychic. And she would give projections of what was going to happen in the future. So Baba Vanga was even cited as reporting that a non-human entity existed in the hole during the visits to the village when they brought her in to double check the information that Loganova was receiving. So this blind psychic, basically, she confirmed everything that Loganova was doing, and the information that she was receiving to direct the dig. Theorists' speculation about the event ranged widely, from citing rumors claiming the military excavated a triangular object of unknown origin, many theorizing it was extraterrestrial or of a proto-human origin. Interesting. So the documentary that was done on this was in 2007 on this Tsarichina project. And now it's spelled Tsarichina. And again, most of the military documents surrounding the event have disappeared from the government archives or since been destroyed. Now, do you think it is really a coincidence that the men in black show up and then immediately they're shut down and all the documents taken? Interesting. And really, that type of behavior, that type of incident, just really kind of validates everything that they, to me, were trying to do there. Now, the significance of telling you this whole story on alien communication is that the psychics were in direct communication with the aliens, or what they called the others, who were directing the dig. Now, how did they have knowledge of this proto-human thing that was buried in the cavern? We don't know. Maybe they will allude to that in the documentary. But with the similarities in the experiences of the people that we talked about in their alien encounters and what they did in the Tsarichina project, the communication with the aliens is all done through the subconscious mind in sort of a altered mental state. And that's what a psychic does to get information, whether it's from another person, from somebody who's passed on, or from an alien, is through an altered mental state or altered brain waves through the subconscious field. So the subconscious field is the major way that this type of communication occurs. Now we're going to take a look at Dr. Stephen Greer. And you've probably heard of him before. So let me know in the comments whether or not you've heard of Dr. Greer before. He's rather well known. Let me check for questions here. I'm not seeing any. That's good. So Dr. Stephen Greer is an American ufologist, and he's actually a retired medical doctor. From what I understand, he worked in a really busy emergency room for many years, since retired. He has had experience with alien communication and things like that since teens, I believe. He also founded the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, and it's called CSETI. And he also founded the Disclosure Project. And this seeks to disclose anything of alleged classified UFO information. So he has had meetings with over 450 military and government connected insiders and whistleblowers, also briefings with the senior government officials such as the former CIA director James Woolsey and members of the U.S. Senate and senior UN officials to try to promote disclosure and try to get these places to release information. He's written a book. It's called Hidden Truth, Forbidden Knowledge. And in this, he talks about his years of working with these entities to try to bring disclosure out into the open. In addition to these disclosures, Hidden Truth, Forbidden Knowledge, it unveils his actual contact experiences from when he was a teen on up. Dr. Greer has had UFO and extraterrestrial civilization contact since he was a young child. In one of the most amazing and moving personal stories ever shared, he explains how, after a prolonged near-death experience at the age of 17, he experienced cosmic consciousness and found the key to contact with ETs. The power of the unbound mind is within each of us. And so this is the main thing that I wanted to get across this evening is our subconscious is connected to this collective consciousness. And only through an altered brain wave state can we access that. And it does take practice, but everyone is capable of doing this. Now, after he had this experiment, that led to numerous other close encounters of the fifth kind, contact with ETs initiated by Greer and later by large groups of people through the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence Project. Okay, so I want to show you a couple things on here. So Dr. Greer, this is Dr. Greer. Let me hang on just a second. I'm going to that we use to establish communication and contact with extraterrestrials. Oh, okay. So sorry. I was flashing up there, and I forget that you can't see me. Is that Dr. Greer has a CE5 contact app, and the main techniques in it, like I flashed up on the screen, were the meditation and coherent thought sequencing. Now, let's see, if I do it over the top of me, maybe you'll still be able to hear me. So let me know if you can still hear me here. Hey to Angela Shields, good to see you tonight. Yes, Amber, we can all do it. So let me know, you guys, if you can still hear me, if I just do it this way. But the name of the app is CE5 Contact. And I believe you can get it both on Android and Apple. So let me see if people can still hear me. Okay, thank you, Tony. Thank you. So I just don't need to go to a background. I just need to keep my face up there. Some hey Martha, good to see you. Um, so yeah, I just need to keep my face up there so that you can see this. So let me go back to this other one. So you can see the coherent thought sequencing and the meditation is those are key factors to Dr. Greer's techniques. Now, something interesting about this, and it's a free app, by the way. You don't have to pay for it, I think. When I downloaded it, it was free, but that was at the very beginning. So I apologize if it cost you $1 or $2, but I really think it's still free. But what I was going to say is that, Dr. Greer's been working on this for a long time, and I think that it is a plausible, very logical theory that he has about this collective consciousness being the way that we definitely can communicate. And the thing is, on his excavations, not excavations, but they're sort of he hosts people to come out where he's at, and I think it's somewhere near Joshua Tree, and they go on these excursions. That's the word I was trying to blunder around. We do these techniques that I was talking about, the assembling a team, finding a location, gathering equipment, meditation, coherent thought sequencing. And then they take pictures of the anomalies that they see and hear during these excursions. And so there's a lot of evidence to be evaluated just in what they've presented from the excursions that they go on. Now, the only kind of catch to that is, I would love to go, but it costs several $1,000s to go and do that. And, if you need a new roof or you need a new porch or you need new windows, you can't very well throw a couple of $1,000s out the door to go on an event like that. So I will just have to read about it and study it and see what I think of other people's evidence. So anyway, the collective consciousness is the main key to this, and I think that kind of fits all of the things that we were talking about at the beginning, the similarities between people's alien encounters. Now, not everybody's alien encounter goes by this, but I would say the majority of the cases that I've looked at are definitely in alignment with, the altered mental capacity, loss of time, suppressed memories, blue flashes of light, and some kind of rotation of the craft or other things that are rotating, and telepathy. And all of that is done through the subconscious. So the sooner that you can start to meditate, and another thing that's really cool about the app, and I can't show you this because I don't want to breach anybody's privacy, but when you go on the app, you can see on there who else in around your location likes to follow sightings and what their experiences are. And you can kind of locally chat with each other, and if and when you get comfortable with in a sort of relationship with the people that are around you, you can even set up like a local sighting session together to practice the techniques in the app and see if you can elicit any kind of responses from extraterrestrials that are within the vicinity. So it's pretty cool. It's really, really pretty cool. So anyway, the name of the app was CE5 Contact, and it's by Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, let's get on. I want to mention real quick my Patreon page before we hop off of here. We're going to try this again. Let's try this and see what happens. So my Patreon page is only like $3 a month. That's less than a big latte. But what you get is an extended daily forecast of not only like moon astrology outlook, but there's also kind of a daily psychic read that goes into that. I look at the moon astrology. I look at the almanac to see what's going on with that. We're even counting the days down to spring. We look at moon mansions and what travel looks like for the day. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be congested and bad? And that kind of gives you a head start on the day. It gives you a look at the energies that are going on. Let's say you get up and the moon astrology is for everybody fighting and arguing. The moon's in Scorpio. The almanac is in a bad energy too. If you know that going into your day, you're prepared. It's not so bad. You're not taken off guard. You're already thinking, okay, this could happen. So it's really, really, I think, beneficial to know those energies before you even start your day, because then if something happens, whether it's good or bad, you're already prepared for it. So Amber says, is there actual evidence in Ezekiel of dimensions that look similar to spacecraft? We should definitely try to practice communication, in my opinion. Absolutely, I agree. Clarity on some questions which would much be welcome. I don't know let's see, I don't know if there is mention of that, but in a lot of other texts, there is mention of that. So Tony wants to know if I've ever seen a UFO. I think I have, but it happened so very quick that it could have been something else. So I can't be sure that it actually was one, but I'm thinking it was just by the way that it moved. I didn't really feel like it could have been much of anything else. So back to the Patreon, I've got 3 levels of support. The $3 level is introductory. That gets you the daily forecast, which is pretty extensive. Tier 2 is free online teaching. You have access to all of the online teaching modules. Tier 3, you get everything, teaching modules, daily forecasts, plus we do a live stream hangout once a month, which, we have another one coming up in January. So those are the Patreons that are listening. Please message me with good days to do this hangout in the evening for you guys. Because I'd like to schedule it on a convenient night when everybody can participate, or let's say most everybody can